Hello everyone, welcome to another video. And in this video, we are going to talk about chapter number 19 from the book Psychology of Money, written by Morgan Housel. And in this chapter, we are going to talk about the stories that we basically tell ourselves when it comes to finance and investments. So let's say there is an extraterrestrial alien who is supposed to keep tabs on our economy. So he's supposed to look at our economy in 2007 and also in 2009. So let's say he flies over the New York City in 2007. He sees thousands of people that are going for parties and stuff. He sees a lot of lights, and he also sees big billboards with different ads on them, right? Then he comes back in 2009 and he sees exactly the same thing. He also sees that the number of office buildings is also the same. Those office buildings also have the same number of desks, and on those desks, there are also the same number of computers that have the same number of internet connection on them, right? He sees that there are the same number of factories, if not more. He sees that the warehouses are the same, and the trucks that are basically loading and offloading from those warehouses are also the same number, right? He sees the universities are teaching the same courses, they're handing out the same degrees, people are graduating, and he also sees that the technology has actually improved between 2007 and 2009. He sees that people have smartphones now, computers are actually more faster, and the usage of social media has actually grown exponentially. So everything basically looks the same, if not better, in 2009, right? But that is until he looks at the numbers. When he looks at the numbers, he actually finds out that the US household is actually $16 trillion poorer than they were in 2007. He also sees that around 100 million people in the US are now unemployed. He sees that the stock market is actually worth less than half than it was 2 years ago. So what was the thing that actually changed between 2007 and 2009? So the only thing that changed between those 2 years were the stories that we were basically telling ourselves. So we were telling the story about the stability of house prices. We were telling a story about the prudence of the bankers, and we also were telling the story to ourselves about the capability of the financial market to accurately price the risks, right? But what actually happened, that the narrative that we had, that the housing prices are gonna keep stable, that actually broke, and that in turn caused a lot of defaults on the mortgage payments, which caused the banks to lose money. And when the banks lost money, they stopped lending money into other businesses. And when they stopped lending money into other businesses, then the spending of those businesses or spending of the people actually reduced in turn as well, and which caused layoffs, which in turn caused more reduction in spending, and then that caused more layoffs, and the cycle goes on and on. And one thing to note here is that um, this this thing that happened in 2009 is actually different from what happened in, let's say, Germany in 1945. In 1945, Germany's manufacturing capacity was basically obliterated because of the World War II. And this story is also different from the story in Japan in the 2000s, when they had a shortage of working age people. So these two things are actually tangible economic damages, potential tangible economic damages that are there, that we can see, and that can actually have a big impact. But the thing with the stories is that is that basically, so the thing is like what happened in 2009 was not a tangible economic damage, but it was more of a narrative damage. And the narrative damage that we basically, the narrative that we basically build with the stories that we tell ourselves also have a very big impact on how the economy is going to be impacted by those narratives. And this is one of the most potent economic forces that exist, whether we acknowledge it or not. So when we think about the growth of economies, the businesses, the investments, and the careers, we tend to think in terms of tangible things. We we look at the things that we have, and then we also look at our capabilities, right? But the thing with stories is that they do have the power to actually make the tangible things work for the economy, or they can also have the negative impact where they can actually affect our capabilities to make use of those tangible things. This is the first part of the chapter 19 and sorry, chapter 18. And there are going to be two more videos coming up later. So we're going to continue with how stories actually impact our um, economic decisions. And hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.